Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be my September wrap up. So I read a total of 22 books in September. 2 of them were physical books. The rest I read on my Kindle. That's pretty much it. I had a really great reading month, even though I didn't read a lot in my opinion, like for me, but I did read a lot of really good books, which I'm happy about. Some new favorites, which is great. So I'm just going to jump straight into it. The first book I read was technically a novella, and that is Planet Honeymoon. And this is it Rouge? I don't really know how you say some of these characters' names. And Liz. This is like their honeymoon book. This one had just come out. I guess this is technically book 2.5 in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. And this I gave 4 to 5 stars. I really liked it. It was cute, a really quick novella. And this series is just a alien sci-fi erotica romance. Then I read That Forever Girl by Megan Quinn. This is book 2 in the Getting Lucky series, and this is Rogan's book. This is like a second chance romance. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it. It's not my favorite Megan Quinn. I just feel like I don't connect with the characters that much in this series so far, because I felt the same way about book 1. This series is a small town romance. It follows like a family and all of the men finding love. I definitely do want to read more from this series, but it wasn't my favorite. Then I read We Shouldnt by Viking. This I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. This is a office enemies to lovers romance, and this follows 2 characters who bump into each other and have really a bad encounter, and then they later find out that they are both competing for like the same position. I really liked it. It was super cute, super entertaining, and it definitely had a very emotional and deeper subject matter, I guess. But I definitely really enjoyed this one, and it's a recent favorite. I really liked it. Then I read Making a Play by Abby Glines. This is book 5 in the Field Party series, and this is a YA contemporary about a small town and a football team, and this follows our female character who is deaf, and she ends up falling for one of the football players who's kind of a big player. It's super cute, super sweet. I feel like Abby Glines deals with really important and heavy subject matters really well. This dealt with obviously a deaf main character. Obviously I can't say if this is that accurate, I'm not sure, but it also deals with racism, and overall I really liked it. Gave it 4 stars. It was a solid YA contemporary. Then I read All It Takes by Kristen Proby. This is book 2 in the Romancing Manhattan series. This I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Another great romance contemporary. This follows Sienna, whose grandfather has recently passed away. His will is being like read out, and their family now inherits, I think, like this park or this building or something, but legally it's not binding, and so a lawyer comes in, tries to question all of that. It's a little bit of enemies to lovers, but I think it forms more into like friends to lovers, if that makes sense. It was really cute. I really enjoyed it. Then I read Jacques Road Up by Sarah Nye. This is book 3 in the Jacques Hard series, and this I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really like this one as well. This is a new adult football romance. This follows a football player who is not into partying. He's very focused on football, and he doesn't really have time for dating. And he runs into our female character, and they have kind of a bad interaction, and they just keep bumping into each other. Super cute. Definitely a great new adult college romance. Then I read Finding Storm by Samantha Towell. This is book 4 in the Storm series. So this follows Johnny's son, who is now all grown up, and he is in his own band, and he's trying to live up to his father's legacy and dealing with all of that pressure. One day he decides he wants to run away from it all, so he goes to the small town, kind of gets stranded there, and he meets our female character who has no idea who he is, and the story takes off from there. I really liked it. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I don't think I was in the right mood for it, but I definitely did like it, and I loved seeing all of the other characters like Jake and True and some of the old band members too. I really liked seeing all of them. Not my favorites by Samantha Tao. Then I read You Can Have Manhattan by P. D'Angelico. This I received as an ARC from NetGalley, and this I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. I almost wanted to give it 5 stars, but I do feel like it was a little hard for me to get into it, and I wasn't a huge fan of the conflict towards the end. I feel like that could have been dealt with a little bit better. This is a marriage of convenience slash enemies to lovers slash kind of office romance-ish, sort of. It's about this girl who works for this company, and she's very close to the owner of the company, and he is sick and dying, and his son kind of has nothing to do with the company, and he wants our female character to take over for the company, but he doesn't feel like anybody is going to take her seriously, so he suggests that she marry his son so that she's technically in the right to inherit the company. I feel like I explained that really wrong, but I loved it. It was really good. It was definitely a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be. Our female character dealt with some really crappy things when she was a kid. But yeah, this was another really great romance, and definitely a new favorite as well. I have like a lot more favorites from this month. I feel like I just had a really great reading month for everything that I read. Like, I didn't read a lot, but I read some really good books, and this was definitely one of them. Then I binged a trilogy, and that is the Twist Me Trilogy by Anna Zaris. I don't really know how to pronounce her name. I should have looked it up. One of you guys recommended it to me, so I decided I would go ahead and check it out. And I did binge the entire trilogy. Book 1 was Twist Me. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. Book 2, Keep Me, I gave 3 out of 5 stars. And book 3, Hold Me, which I also gave 3 out of 5 stars. So this follows a girl who, on her 18th birthday, gets kidnapped by this older man and taken to this island. It's a dark erotica romance. I really liked book 1, and then book 2 and book 3 kind of went in a weird direction where it became more crime heavy, which I feel like book 1 also had a pretty heavy crime aspect, but I wanted it more to just be like, I feel like the crime aspect was too much, if that makes sense. I would have loved this trilogy more if it was just focused on her being kidnapped and dealing with all of that. But if you want a dark romance with a little bit of erotica, I highly recommend this one. Then I read Quilty by Mariana Zapata. I finally read a Mariana Zapata book. I have been meaning to do this for years, and I finally did it. This I gave almost 5 stars. I feel like now that I think about it, I want to give it 5. Initially I had given it 4.5 out of 5 stars, but I think I'm going to bump it up to a 5. I really loved this. I feel like I'm one of the last people to ever read a Mariana Zapata book, especially this one. I feel like this one is her most popular. This follows our female character who is a soccer player, and she gets a new coach who happens to be her childhood idol, and he is so different from what she imagined her hero to be. He's completely the opposite. He's rude. It has an age gap. It's sports romance. It has like a grumpy hero who would do anything for our female character. It's so good. I mean, I feel like all of you have probably already read this and I'm the last person, but I totally recommend it if you haven't. It is very slow burning, which is not my favorite type of romance, especially because how long this book is. It makes the slow burning feel like forever because it's such a long book. But I really loved it, and it's definitely a new favorite. Probably my top 10 of the year. I really loved it. I definitely want to read more from Mariana Zapata, so I'm really happy I finally read one of her books. Then I continued the Gibson Boys series by Adriana Locke. So I read book 2, which was Craft. This is another small town romance series that follows a bunch of brothers or relatives. I think I read book 1 earlier this year. I think I read it in like January. I decided to finally continue the series. So book 2, Craft, as I said. This follows Lance, who is a teacher, and Mariah, who is the school librarian. This is a Friends to Lovers. It's super cute. I really liked it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I'm really loving this author's books, and I'm just like slowly reading all of her books because I'm really enjoying them. So then I read book 2.5, which is Cross, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This is a novella and this follows Cross's story, and this is a second chance romance. And I read Crave, which is book 3, and this I gave 4.5 out of 5. It is almost a 5. I feel like I might give it a 5 as well because I really loved this. This is another second chance romance, but it's a lot heavier, it's more intense. This one was so emotional, so heavy, and I really loved it. It follows Hadley and Macklin, who have a history. They were very much in love, and something happened that kind of tore them apart. And years later, Hadley is back in town and they try to form some sort of friendship, or just where they can not be so hateful towards each other. And every time they try to talk about things, they just argue. This book was so passionate and just so good. I really loved it. I feel like I'm gonna give it 5 stars. It was so good. I really loved it. Then I read book 4, which was Crazy, and this one I gave 3 out of 5 stars. And this is Pecks Story. I was really excited to read his book, but sadly I didn't love this one that much. This is a friends to lovers romance. It was really sweet, it was really cute, but it just didn't really do it for me. But overall, I really enjoyed this series, and I'm really happy I decided to binge it because it was really good, especially book 3. Then I read A Lie for a Lie by Helena Hunting. This I received as a e-arc from NetGalley, and this I gave 4 out of 5 stars. This comes out October 15th, I think, and this is a hockey romance. I really loved this. This is also kind of a friends to lovers romance. It follows our 2 characters who meet kind of on a plane, and they both are on this like getaway to Alaska, and they end up sitting beside each other, and they end up staying not too far from each other, build this friendship that turns into more, and then they get separated, and a year later they're reunited. And it has one of my favorite tropes. Wink wink, I don't really want to spoil things for you guys, but I really loved it. Super cute, and I just really love the characters. Also, I really loved seeing all of the Pucked characters. It was nice to kind of catch up with them and see like what their lives are like now. I really loved seeing that. Yeah, I really love this one, and I can't wait for book 2, which I think comes out in January. Then I read The Dugout by Megan Quinn. This I gave 4 out of 5 stars, almost a 5. I feel like I might want to give this one a 5 as well. I really loved it. If I'm at a different angle, it's because I had to change my memory card. The Dugout is a friends to lovers college new adult sports romance, and it follows our female character Millie, who is obsessed with baseball. She knows everything about baseball, and she offers to help one of the guys on the baseball team because he's struggling. He's having a really bad year, and he doesn't really believe that some girl can help him, but he gives her a chance, and things take off from there. It's super cute. I really loved it. Almost a 5 star. I feel like I want to give it a 5 star, but I don't know. I highly recommend The Dugout. It was just really good. Then I read another by Fiona Cole. This I gave 3 out of 5 stars. It's more like 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was good. There was just something about it that I didn't really love. But this was recommended to me by one of you guys because of my surprise pregnancy romance recommendations. One of you said that this had the trope, so I love that trope. Obviously, I had to read this book. This follows Karina and Ian, who met one night when Karina was having like a really bad night, and he offered to help her forget about it, and she didn't take him up on his offer, but they keep kind of running into each other every now and again, and one thing leads to another. Karina ends up pregnant, and a couple months later she bumps into Ian, and he is now dealing with the fact that he's going to become a dad. It was really cute. I did like it, and I loved how you got to see them be like pretty domestic, and just like you got to see the whole like pregnancy side, which I really enjoyed, but I don't know, I just didn't fully love the book. And the last 3 books I read were a trilogy. I binged a trilogy again. That was the All the Pretty Things trilogy by Monica James. I had seen that Jessica had read the first book and loved it. I think she gave it like 5 stars. So I definitely wanted to check it out. This is a dark romance trilogy. It follows a girl who gets kidnapped, and she kind of starts falling for her kidnapper. I liked it, but again, I just didn't fully love it. I gave the first book 3 out of 5 stars, which was Bad Saint. Book 2, Fallen Saint, I gave 4 out of 5 stars. And then book 3, Forever My Saint, I also gave 3 out of 5 stars. I just wanted to know what happened. Like, I did like the characters. I just don't think I liked the storyline that much, specifically in like book 2 and book 3. I didn't really like where the story went. It became too like drama and like family secrets and like the secret society sort of. I don't know, it just kind of went in like this weird direction that I wasn't really into, but I still wanted to know what happened to the characters. I liked it, but it's not something that I would ever reread. It still was an entertaining dark romance. So that is it for all of the books I read in September. Let me know how many books you read last month and which one was your favorite. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!